my Infinity Craft Kids. In this video, I'm gonna walk you through making this owl. And please note, you will need some scissors for this one, but everything else will be provided in your kit. Let's get started. All right, let's get started on our owl craft. So in your bag, you're going to have a little baggie that has paint, googly eyes, and some buttons. A thing of feathers, and your wooden owl. And you'll notice that it comes with some paint in here as well. I didn't use any of these colors on my owl, but if you want to, you're more than welcome to. So the first thing you're gonna do is open this package and take out your owl. But because I already did one side, because I wanted to see the best way to kind of show this to you guys, so I'll be demoing on the back, so you can decorate the front and back of your owl, and then also the base. So, and we're not going to be using paint brushes on this. You'll notice that you'll have in the kit, which I didn't show you yet, but you'll have these little strips of plastic. I like to do things with unconventional items sometimes. So this is honestly just a cut up plastic grocery bag. And I'll show you how to do this technique with just some bags. So even if you don't have paint brushes or anything fancy materials, there's always things you can use. So I'm gonna set the base aside. That's not gonna be completely flat this time because I did work on this side, but that is okay. Out of your tool bag for this, you will need your glue. So I'm gonna start on this side. I started with pink, then blue, and then yellow. But on this side, I might try to start with the blue, just to see what it looks like. So I'm gonna take my little plastic, I'm gonna roll it up into a ball, kind of the best you can. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then I'm just gonna dip that in my blue paint or whatever color paint, and I'm just gonna move it around like this, all over. And if I need to dip some more, we can dip some more. And you can kind of see how on there it's kind of giving it a textured look. And we're just gonna layer these colors and keep doing this until our whole thing is nice and painted. And it's okay to leave some of the wood showing if you want. And I'm gonna note that here we're gonna cover with feathers. So if this part here isn't covered completely in paint, that's okay, because that's where we're putting our feathers. And if your hands get a little messy, that's okay. This washable paint, we can wash them. And you can even, if you didn't want that, you can even slide it around too, like that. I like the textured look, but we can get that when I layer the next colors too. And that way it spreads it around a little more too. See, we can spread it, we can dab it, but it's a really fun kind of technique. So I have that color. And you can see my hands are messy, so I am definitely gonna go wash my hands before I go to the next color. I'm actually just gonna wipe them on a paper towel for right now. And then I'm gonna grab my next ball. I'm gonna go with pink next. I use the yellow last because it's kind of the lightest color. And I'm just gonna texture, and I'm not trying to cover up the blue completely. And then if you want more texture, you And I did wait a few seconds for my blue paint to dry a little bit. If it's a little wet, that's okay, but if it's too wet, then they'll blend and it'll become muddy. And by muddy, I mean it might turn brown. And that's not what we're looking for. Unless you're using the brown paint, and that's different. Like I said, if you want to use the colors that that package came with that brown and blue and such, you are more than welcome. I just wanted to do my owl a little bit different. But this is definitely your project, so you can do it however you want. I like that so far for the pink. I'm just gonna wipe my hands off again on my paper towel. And you can see it's kind of wet, but we'll see what it does. I'm just gonna roll it into a ball, my plastic, dip it in. If it's too painty, because I don't want the yellow everywhere, just in splotches, so I'm just gonna move it around. Oh, I kind of like that. Go back over and smooth it out a little. But it's so much fun to use different materials other than just paint brushes or foam brushes. Like, this is kind of like a sponge technique, but if you don't have a sponge, you can definitely use plastic. And if you don't have plastic bags, but you have aluminum foil, you can do the same thing, or even wax paper or parchment paper. But I like how that looks. So that's just the blue and the pink and then the yellow on this side. And like I said, on this side, it was the pink, the blue, and the yellow. So there's no right or wrong way. It's all what colors you would like. So I think that painting part is done. So definitely have to let that dry before we go on to the next part. We could put the eyes on before it dries. So you have a strip of googly eyes. Pick which colors you want your owl's eyes to be. And then there's sticker sheet. So you just kind of stick it on there. And then I'm just gonna stick the other one over here. And by doing that, you have the front ones and then the back ones, so then you can't see the outline of really the ones we did on the other side. I love the googly eyes. He really just kind of makes him come to life. So I'm just kind of waiting for this to dry, and then we're gonna get to our package of feathers. Out of my pack of feathers, because I did the blue, yellow, and pink, I'm gonna pick blue, yellow, and pink feathers, but you have lots of different colors in your pack. I think there's red, black, white, brown. You use whatever color feathers you like. You also need some scissors for this one because we will be trimming the stems down. But I'm gonna let my owl dry and then we'll come back and add the feathers. Okay, so mine's mostly dry, so I'm gonna move on to the wing with the feathers. And so when you have these long stems, feel free to take you don't want to cut too far up because then you'll damage it a little. So I'm gonna just kind of go down. Whoop, and that went flying. Make sure you pick up those pieces so you don't get in trouble for making a mess. So that's kind of gonna be the centerpiece here. And I just kind of start by laying down the different colors. You see me turning it over because I kind of want to do the same thing. This one's long too, so I'm going to trim that one. I'm just going to kind of lay it on here and see where these kind of fit the best. That one's kind of long, so it will go all the way down to the tip of that. And there's no right or wrong way to do this. It's however you like it. maybe that one is too big. Let me try the smaller one maybe. Sometimes it just takes playing around. Okay, so I'm just trying to place feathers so I see how I like them. Maybe I will go back to that bigger one. It's all about playing and figuring out how you want it to look. Maybe I'll add some of these blue ones. There's no right or wrong way, it's just how you like it. And I see that and I think I'm happy with that. So then of course we have to kind of take it off and remember how we did it. And then we're going to use the glue out of your tool bag. I'm just going to put glue kind of down the stem and stick it down. And if I had long stems on these last feathers, I would have cut them down too, but they were already cut down. So now that I have those feathers glued down like that, I'll bring it up so you can see a little bit closer. There were some buttons in your kit, and I added these just because I wanted to kind of cover those little stem bits. But if you don't want to, you don't have to. I just kind of liked the idea of that. So I'm just going to glue those down. Just put a little bit of glue on the button and stick it where I want it. And there we go. That part of my owl is done. And then you would turn it over once this is completely dry, the glue, and then you would do the back side like I had on that back side. So this is what happens when I put the blue and then pink, and then the other side is what happens when I did pink and then blue and then yellow. But I'm just gonna set this to dry. It's not quite dry, and the more I tilt it over, the things want to move. So I'm just gonna move this up here. And the base. We could have painted the base at the same time as we were painting the owl, so then you don't have to get your hands dirty over and over, but for the purpose of this video, and I don't think I want the base to be exactly like the owl, because then it's hard to like tell them apart. So I think I'm just gonna pick, I opened all the colors up, I think I'm just gonna maybe pick the yellow, and maybe I'll just kind of run it like this instead of the whole texture thing. But it's up to you. If you want to do it so it looks the same down here, you can. And then once you get the base how you like it, I just like it yellow. And then once your owl's dry, you can set it in the base, and then you can display it where you like. Hope you enjoyed this one.